watch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one to necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through. It's just gonna solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lures, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nambler immediately goes back, like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth. All right, good evening, everybody. It is time to crown your first champion of the mid-season here in the NAGM tier. I am Dextron. I'm be joined by Shadow Fang tonight, and we have ourselves a good game as Lindenwood Academy takes on Vesuvius. And Shadow, these have been by far probably the best 2 teams in the regular season, and so far they've been the best 2 teams here in the mid-season as well. And really, based off what Vesuvius said on Tuesday or Wednesday, they really expected this would be the matchup here in the grand finals of the midseason.
Yeah, there are no surprises here. Like you said, the top 2 teams in the tier so far this season, so I would expect this to be a significantly closer game than what both Vesuvius and Lindenwood played in their first round matchups. But there is also the fact that, is Lindenwood super flexible? Vesuvius is really good at their couple of comps that they play, but is Lindenwood able to flex a little bit more, and that'd be a downfall of Vesuvius? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see how that's going to work out for them.
Well, based on what Vesuvius told us after their win on Wednesday, that they are primarily a Junker Queen Wrecking Ball team. Granted, they probably have a couple other things in their back pocket that they'll have to bring out if necessary, but Junker Queen and Wrecking Ball might be the way to go for them. While on the other hand, Lindenwood Academy, I mean, that's a really good team in their own right. You look at the accomplishments they have outside of CGL, a couple of NACE Division Plus champions, or Varsity Plus champions for themselves. You also have a couple runners-up in those same tournaments there. So this is a very good team in the collegiate scene, and already coming over into CGL and having a really good start. Again, one of the only undefeated teams, or I think the only undefeated team that's in this GM tier at the moment.
Yeah, I do believe you're right. Vesuvius did have a loss coming in, so that makes perfect sense. And like I said before, here's the bracket. As you can see, both Lindenwood and Vesuvius winning their matches in 3-0 fashion to get here. And, I'm really just hoping for a really competitive game tonight, regardless of which way it goes. I just want to see 2 teams playing at a high level tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what we're going to be getting here tonight. Like we both said, I believe these are probably the 2 best teams in this tier. They've shown it throughout the regular season. Vesuvius, yeah, they have that one blemish, but even they said that was a game that they didn't have everyone there, so they were kind of struggling to be able to, put a team together. That one still put a team together, won a map in it, but ended up losing the series overall. But Vesuvius, they really impressed us on Wednesday. I believe Lindenwood, this is actually their first time being streamed on CGL this season. I might be wrong about that. Don't take my word for it. But this is still a really good team in their own right. Like I said, you look at the accomplishments outside of CGL, and there it is plentiful, especially in the collegiate scene, which right now is still very, very tough, especially for a lot of schools. In Lindenwood, they have a great varsity team, and the academy team looks like to be just as good here. But I mean, hey, we know where we're going to be starting off here tonight. It is going to be Busan to get everything started with this series here. And Shadow, when you think about Busan, what do you normally expect to see from the teams?
I mean, again, it's kind of similar to all the control maps where it really depends which sub point we're going to get, what sort of composition I expect to see, right? So if we get a mecha base, I would expect a more Zarya style composition with that brawl. Maybe you run some Ramatra as well if that's your speed. You could even go with something like an Orisa, again, if that's what you're most comfortable on, or even the Junker Queen, as we know that's what Vesuvius likes to play. I think this map is actually really nice for Vesuvius because I think you can get away with both the Wrecking Ball and the Junker Queen pretty effectively on this map, and it won't necessarily hamper you too heavily.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to see what the bans are going to be. Has Vesuvius done some research? Has Lindenwood done some research? I mean, hey, Lindenwood, at least they were able to go back and watch a stream for Vesuvius if they were able to do that. So they might know that this is a team that really favors the Jungle Queen or the Wrecking Ball here. So they could go that way. But again, I feel like it's always safe to go support, especially on a map like Busan. You get rid of something like the Lucio. I feel like you slow down the comp just a lot.
I think in this situation, yeah, I wasn't gonna say ban Wrecking Ball per se, but I think it's safer to ban a tank so that you don't get your diva banned out. Because I really do think you want diva available to you here, and I bet Vesuvius would have went with that diva ban given the opportunity. Just because it's like the only tank that can really do anything with Wrecking Ball on a regular basis.
Yeah, and now Vesuvius, their time to shine with the ban, and immediately going to be throwing out the Sojourn here. And I mean, that was one thing that we saw from Vesuvius. They do have a couple good hit scan players, but none of them really favored playing the Sojourn. While a lot of other teams, you still see a lot of the hit scans really favor the Sojourn, especially for this map, where a map like Mecha Base, you want to get from the low ground of the point to the high ground very, very quickly. Sojourn might just be the best option for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fantastic ban because as we saw in our stream, Jubs heavily favors that Soldier 76. And so you've gotten rid of the mobile hit scan option now. And the only mobile hit scan available now is Soldier 76, which I doubt we're going to see that from anybody but Jubs. But, you know, it's still worth throwing that idea out there.
I mean, technically Amray is there, but yeah, not as quick as them. But Lindenwood Academy, they're lined up here. Hammer, Sora, Crazy Art, Bix, and Antler. Again, I believe this is our first time showing them here throughout the season, but again, 4-0 for a reason, coming off a really good 3-0 sweep in that first round. I mean, this looks like a team that is poised to just keep the train a-going.
Oh, it absolutely does appear to be that way so far. But, I mean, on the other side, we are going to have Vesuvius's lineup right here. This is going to be the challengers, if you will, tonight. We got Jubs and Gravel out in here with Happy Dragon, Balake, and Chris Kringle here tonight. Happy Dragon, I don't believe... Did we see Happy Dragon on anything other than the Wrecking Ball? Happy Dragon did play the Queen as well?
I think you might be right about that. Happy Dragon only really played the Wrecking Ball, while their other tank, Albert, would come in to play the Queen here. So this might be showing us a little bit, maybe more in the bag here for Happy Dragon. If they are going to be staying in, there's always those last minute swaps that could happen. We've seen it happen before. But it's going to be really interesting to see here, especially as we head into our first map of this grand final series.
Ooh, downtown. Downtown's a good one because it's usually such a dive-heavy map. Like, I almost would expect a Diva Mirror since that Wrecking Ball has been banned out at this point. You know, maybe somebody decides to go Winston if there's just a Winston enthusiast out here. But Oh, wait a minute. Albert is actually in on tank playing that Junker Queen. See, I was remembering right about Happy Dragon. I remembered correctly, it looks like.
Yeah, Happy Dragon, the designated ball player here for Vesuvius. So this might be the only map we see him out of this entire series, unless we get dragged to another kind of map where dive or really rush isn't the name of the game here. But Albert, they show us a lot of good play in the series on Wednesday. But you look over at the other side, Sora coming out on the Sombra. I mean, we saw Sombra come out for Vesuvius on the first point on Wednesday, and it really did struggle to get anything going. What do you think that Sora has to do here to make it work?
Honestly, to make it work, you got to be ultra coordinated because Sombra is like Tracer with less damage. You can't really do anything by yourself on Sombra. You got to have assistance, and you got to have timing and coordination. So that's what Lindenwood's going to need here to get value out of that Sombra.
Albert getting hacked up here, but not going to fall. They are the tank for a reason, but you already see Lindenwood just going straight over towards point, and now it's going to be Crazy Art going after Jubs. Jubs going to barely be able to escape, but the Suzu already messed there by Balake, as again, it's going to be Albert finding Hammer out here pretty early on. That's exactly who you're looking for there. If you're Vesuvius, get rid of that hit scan, because now you just lost a lot of your damage, unless it's Crazy Art just throwing themselves into people here. Crazy Art about to get Team X, somehow will just get out with their own life here. Same thing for Antler and Bix. Great plays there early on by Lindenwood Academy to get out, but Vesuvius has first cap.
Yes, they do. It took a lot to get that cap, too. And I mean, you're just seeing, like, have you ever played against a Soldier 76 that moves like Jubs? It's like the most hardest thing in the game to be able to hit. And you were seeing that right there. I felt like a lot of time got wasted just trying to catch Jubs while the rest of Vesuvius was pushing onto that back line.
Jubs is doing what I like to call it schmoovin' at the moment. He's doing stuff like you said, you'd never have seen people do it that often. It's not a real thing you see that often because you just don't see a soldier. But Antler getting off to a good start here for Lindenwood, getting rid of Gravelot, who was putting a decent amount of pressure onto the other side. But now Crazy Art almost getting demeched here, desperately needs some healing. Sora will be able to find Jubs, and that might just be the nail in the coffin for Vesuvius this fight. They're going to hang around, but eventually everyone will fall, and Lindenwood will be able to take the point for the first time in the map.
Yeah, I mean, great focus there. Catching out Gravelot just gives your team so much space, right? You don't have to worry about anybody coming up behind you really anymore because the Tracer's out of the way. We're good to go now. And especially running this Tracer Sombra like Lindenwood Academy is, now you actually have that follow-up damage I was talking about that Sombra really needs to be successful.
And honestly, if you're Vesuvius, you're not mad about losing that fight. You got the Kitsune Rush out from the other side, and look at the ultimates you're coming up to here. 3 really good ones, Pulse Bomb, Visor, and the Rampage here. Sora does have EMP ready to go, so they're waiting for the moment to use it here, waiting for Vesuvius to really engage into a fight, but each team playing safe. Neither one wants to make a mistake this early on, but the EMP comes out, will land on the 3. Bomb gonna be forced out here by Crazy Art. Jubs will be able to shut down Antler, but they did not, or they do have their beat ready to go, but it will not be used this fight. Now if you're Lindenwood, you might just be trying to stall out this point for as long as you can, as Vesuvius actually almost capped it for free, and they're gonna be able to get the point flip as well, essentially for free. Crazy Art demeched, and if you're Lindenwood, you're just waiting for your diva to die here, and maybe you're trying to get out of this fight as well, so you're kind of a really quick re-engage, but Sora will find Gravelot on the way out.
I mean, that's a solid trade, but Sora needs to live through that. Oh my goodness. Sora does not live. That's going to be a tough reset. Gravelot's going to get back really quickly here, though. Sound barrier is going to be available for both sides. I'm looking for Balake to have a good Kitsune rush here. You could potentially Kitsune and Visor. You've got Rampage available as well. You got a lot of tools here to close this map out if you're Vesuvius.
Shooting out early there from Balake will lead to the pick there. No supports now for Lindenwood Academy as they're just being forced back yet again. But Vesuvius, a fight win that you desperately like there, and you're getting a massive stagger as Crazy Art will fall. But now if you're Lindenwood, who's your touch?
Yeah, this is tough. You're pretty much stuck with Sora having to touch, I feel like, here, but they're about to come out of their invisibility, so... Ooh, this is a tough spot.
They get a touch. Hammer does have the Pulse Bomb ready to go, but you will lose Antler, who was not able to use the Pulse Bomb. Jubs now goes off with the Visor. Going to be able to find one. Gravelot cleans it up. There's the Rampage out on the Crazy Art, who will get Suzu'd, but won't matter as they get demeched. And Vesuvius coming out of the gate on fire. A much better start than what we saw on Wednesday.
Yeah, they were ready tonight. They had to make sure after that first map on what was it, Wednesday you said? After that first map, they had to come out strong here, especially against a team that they know is going to be tough to beat in Lindenwood Academy. And yeah, they really just performed super well there. Immediately, as soon as we get onto this second point, it looks like Sora's going to be swapping over to that Reaper. I instantly like that pick a lot better than the Sombra. It's just like I said, Sombra just doesn't have enough damage. She doesn't have enough damage, and she doesn't disable you long enough. So it's like she can't do either thing particularly well, and it really shows when you're getting caught in any sort of 1v1 with that character.
Yeah, and let me just correct myself. Tuesday, we saw Vesuvius play. But this is almost exactly what we saw Vesuvius do on Tuesday and struggle on that first point, sticking with the Sombra for maybe a little bit too long. Now they swap over to, I believe it was also a Reaper going into the second point as well. So this might actually end up working out a little bit better for Vesuvius. But I think right now you have to be able to figure out how you shut down Albert, because I think they never died that last round.
Yeah, that Junker Queen, it has been insane to say the least. And now that it's a mirror, you're really just looking at these cooldown exchanges. And if you're Albert, you just got to make sure you stay alive here. It's just incredibly crucial. As soon as you lose your queen, this fight's basically over.
And Antler getting a little bit too close to the sun. Chris Kringle barely staying alive. There's the shout from Albert helping them stay alive. Jub's going to be able to shut down the Lucio on the side. Lindenwood. Sora will fall as well, and almost was looking like a good start there from Lindenwood. Slowly falls apart. Crazy Art going to make the swap to the Queen as well. Going to be able to at least find one, but that's going to be the only thing that Lindenwood gets this fight as Vesuvius starts round 2 off with a team kill.
Oh my goodness. You know Crazy Art had to be livid right there. That's like a moment you're screaming this character is won. At least if that's me, I'm screaming the soldier is won over and over again. I'm saying actually won. Actually, you know. You say won when they're half HP, but when they're like actually won, you gotta scream actually in front of it. That is so tragic to not be able to catch Jubs there, but that's what we saw from him all day in the last game.
Crazy Art, though, just flanked in the backline, able to find Chris Kringle, but Jub's going to be able to trade out almost immediately, and Albert will shut down their counterpart there. So already Lindenwood down and almost out of this fight, but Albert will be traded out as well. However, again, when you need to kill most, it's this DPS line for Vesuvius. It always ends up finding one, make it two, as Gravelot and Soul and Jubs will be able to clean up that fight there, but Jubs does die. However, it's not necessarily the worst case scenario there.
No, it's really not. Like, you have a Pulse Bomb online, you've got your Kitsune, you've got this Rampage, and all Lindenwood has is a Deadeye, right? And that is, like, that was almost cut off by Gravelot right there. Good roll from Hammer to manage to dodge that Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, but you already see Crazy Art very low on health. Deadeye coming out to try to maybe save Crazy Art's life here, but they're going to be able to find Chris Kringle. 3 ultimates now being invested here by Vesuvius, but the Rampage hits on to 4, and all 4 members are going to be 6 feet deep. Sora, the only one left alive here, but Albert will just stick a knife in them, sending them back to the spawn with another team kill for Vesuvius.
Oh, the only thing you don't really like in that fight is that you had to use everything if you're Vesuvius. So, like, right here, you're gonna just have to kite away from some of these ults, or run in and try and get them to try and get Lindenwood to expend a bunch of them.
Kitsune out here pretty early on, but you see everyone in Lindenwood very low on health. Crazy Art, they're going to be able to find Chris Kringle, needs to find another one. Antler going to be able to shut down Gravelot. This is looking like to be the best fight here from Lindenwood so far, but they need to clean it up. But they're going to be able to do that here. Will get the point, but now they have to go 99-0 to even force a point 3.
I mean, they've got a great chance, if I'm being honest, especially with Crazy Art getting that stagger onto Albert. You have your Death Blossom, you've got the Rampage and a Sound Barrier. Vesuvius not really close to anything, and Gravelot going down right there is really a bad situation for Vesuvius to put themselves in.
Hammer just trying to play its off angle here. Has to be cautious here, because if multiple members of Vesuvius run down that corner, they're most likely dead, even with the help there from Ambler, as you already see them falling back. Nice boop just to buy them some more time, but Jub's very low here. Lindenwood doing everything right here at the moment, playing very safe, forcing Vesuvius to make the first move here, and now you see Lindenwood just coming back in, but no one gonna fall just yet. Chris Kringle, though, will eventually follow that silver bullet, but Gravelot trying to back cap it here. Gravelot gonna be able just to blink away to get that health pack, as it looks like Vesuvius gets set back up for another soft regroup.
I mean, it's tough because they're not really forcing any ultimates out, as Hammer does win out that 1v1 against Jubs. Like, you need to get a full reset here before you're just stuck in last fight territory, and you just gotta hope your ultimates are a little bit better, right? You haven't forced anything out of Lindenwood. You need to go before they get their support ults. Great stick coming through, but no kill to show for it.
Unfortunately stuck it onto the worst person you could right there. However, now you see the Rampage come out there from Crazy Art, the beat, and now the visor coming out from Jubs for Vesuvius, and Crazy Art, just because they are in too deep, will be taken out, but Sora coming in with the hero play, finding 3, looking for more here. Has to pop that Wraith form, but will be able to take care of Albert. Hammer finally going to be able to shut down Gravelot on the point, and now Vesuvius, what do they do here? Because they are rushing now to get back to this point.
Yeah, this is going to be tough, right? Like, Albert's going to be alive, you're going to have a Rampage available, but you're going to be in such a tough situation because you just never forced any of those ults out like I was talking about. Lindenwood still has a Kitsune and a Deadeye available for this next fight, so you're still in a tough situation.
Kitsune out here pretty early on, though, from Bix. Lindenwood, they need to find one. However, it will be Jub falling first. Albert going to throw out their own Rampage. Will land on 2, but Deadeye from Hammer going to at least be able to shut down Gravelot. No Queen now for Lindenwood, as you're going to need to see another hero play come out here for Lindenwood, but it's not going to happen this time around. Sora trying to stay alive, but the axe will take care of them, and Vesuvius almost gave it up, but will come back to win this first map 2-0.
Ooh, they just wanted to make it tough on themselves there, right? They just wanted it to be like a very even fight right there, where they had to make some hero plays, like you mentioned. But I mean, overall, Jub's just sitting on this off angle on this Soldier 76, just continuing to do way too much damage. Like, that's just the best way I can put it. Anytime you saw somebody peeking at this Soldier, they were almost instantly half HP to the point they had to run and hide.
Yeah, there's been something that I want to talk about maybe on Tuesday a little bit, and definitely when we've seen it go over to Jubs tonight already. That man has to have played a lot of CSGO or CS2, because you can just see the tracking on that Soldier. It's almost as if I'm watching someone spray an AK, really, because you can see them accurately just know where they have to position everything so that almost every shot hits. It's very impressive to see, because you just don't see Soldier that much anymore.
No, it's really impressive. Like, the game the game of Overwatch is so much, if you're playing a hit scan, about one-shotting people, essentially. That's what it's about most of the time. Soldier doesn't do that, but the rate at which Jubs is landing these headshots, it feels like a one-shot more often than not, because you're not even peeking but like a quarter of a second and you're half HP. Like, it's really great aim that I'm surprised it doesn't transfer over to other characters, from what Grapplot was telling us in the interview, at least.
I mean, like I said, I think they did change Soldier's spray to almost act sort of like what I said, a CS weapon, where it's the same kind of spray every time. So, I mean, but right now, if you're Vesuvius, you're very happy winning that map there, knowing the Wrecking Ball is no longer going to be banned out anymore. It's going to be difficult now for Lindenwood to kind of pick around the maps here, because I feel like a lot of the maps are in this map pool really do gravitate towards Wrecking Ball being at least favorable on a lot of them.
It really should, but there's also the fact that Lindenwood will have the map pick here. You know, they know how good this Wrecking Ball composition can be, so I have no doubt they'll pick something where it's not necessarily going to be advantageous to do that. But we also saw how well it went trying to match the Queen head on, so I don't know. You're in a tough spot right now if you're Lindenwood, because you kind of just got punched in the mouth on that first composition, right? And it's tough because Vesuvius is able to play a dive comp very, very well, and they're also able to play a brawl comp very, very well. So it leaves very few choices for you, unless you want to just go with like a Circuit Royale and just try and force a poke.
I mean, we saw that in the last series with Vesuvius, where they did go Circuit Royale, but they just played Queen throughout the entirety of the map. I mean, it could definitely be something you see come back out for them. I mean, they did tell us they are a Wrecking Ball and Queen team through and through. Yeah, there's probably some other heroes in the back pocket, but you never know. But right now, what does Lindenwood need to do? Because like you said, the Queen mirror did end up actually working out for them a little bit. It took them a little bit, though, to get going. But you saw it there in those last couple of fights where when Lindenwood got that point on the second, or capped the point on that second point, they were looking like to be almost in a better position than what Vesuvius was.
Yeah, they were doing a really good job of just being aggressive once they had the point. It was hard for them to retake into Vesuvius, because you just... once you get that hit scan Jub set up on like an off angle, it was incredibly hard to cross the space without somebody getting picked off by something random, because Block A is really good with those kunai too on the Kiriko, right? So you got to deal with that spam coming at you as well. And if you just get a stray Helix, if you get a stray Helix rocket and a stray kunai that headshots you, like, that's it. You lost somebody to that at complete random. So I mean, honestly, the best thing that I think Lindenwood could do is just play with that speed and quickness that we saw them play with when they actually captured the point.
Yeah, man. Hey, speaking of speed and quickness, that's kind of what we're going to be going to with our next map, as Lindenwood going to be bringing us over to Saravasa for Flashpoint. And honestly, I always look at Saravasa, and especially Flashpoint, as a mode where you don't really want to play slow. You want to play fast. You want to keep that tempo up, and you want to be able to outspeed the other team.
I mean, yeah, you absolutely do. And I think something worth mentioning as well is that the Sojourn is back available. I think that could potentially be incredibly helpful to just have that little bit more range, right? Because having to play so close with the cast can make it incredibly tough to win a duel against a soldier. But if you're able to get that railgun charged up and you just have it available to you, that's a much more even fight that you potentially have if you're Lindenwood.
Yeah, but Lindenwood will have first ban out here. What do you see them going after here?
This is tough. I would say Queen, but I don't necessarily think the Queen was that stressful. I think they might just go Soldier. Just go ahead and do it now.
And yeah, that's going to be the case. I almost think it's a little bit of a reaction, or too much of a reactionary ban, but at the same time, like you said, Jubs was just moving unlike any soldier we've seen in a long time.
And I mean, like I said, and what I was saying before is like the Queen mirror felt pretty even to me, so you don't necessarily want to do that. So I mean, this makes the most sense in my book. And Vesuvius gonna go on ahead and ban out that diva. I don't think Lindenwood was gonna play the diva here. I think they are just gonna take you on the Queen matchup head on, if that's what you're gonna do. but I'm almost thinking that Happy Dragon might be coming in to play the Wrecking Ball, and that's why we saw the Diva ban.
I mean, hey, it would make a lot of sense if that is what we are going to be seeing from Lindenwood, from Vesuvius here. Again, this is a map where Jungle Queen could definitely work, but you do see it right here. Happy Dragon coming back in, so expect the Wrecking Ball. I think we were told they also do play a little bit of Queen, but Wrecking Ball is their preferred hero here. And I think this is going to be a really good test here for Lindenwood Academy, because if they can shut down this Wrecking Ball from Happy Dragon, I think you're going to be able to really shut down a lot of what Vesuvius wants to do here, considering Jubs does not have their soldier.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the real test here. Is Jubs going to be able to give that same level of value we were seeing on that Soldier 76? Because that's what we were seeing a lot with like the Wrecking Ball slams. We were seeing like a slam, and then while the person was sitting in midair, they were just getting pure headshotted by a soldier from way across the map. So like, I don't see why that aim wouldn't just translate over to a Sojourn as well, though. But again, we just haven't seen Jubs really play that Sojourn. I don't believe, at least. So I'm gonna be curious to see what the adaptation is here now that the soldier's been taken off the table.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see it as well, because, I feel like the one time we saw Soldier banned out on the series on Tuesday, Jubs was also swapped out. But no, Soj is going to be the way to go. At least they're showing us that right now. But look over at what Lindenwood's showing us, the Domina.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't necessarily dislike it per se, but I'm also wondering what target you're necessarily going to have. I don't know. I feel like Domina is pretty immobile, generally speaking, but maybe this Lucio can help out with that.
I think Lucio's going to have to help out a lot, because you are right. The Domina is pretty slow, and maybe its weakest part of Domina's kit right now is considering how slow she is. Happy Dragon, though, already trying to bowl her back towards her team. Wall going to come out to at least keep Crazy Art alive for a moment as Happy Dragon gets set back up for another bowl through. And this time, though, it's going to be a pile drive, only landing onto Antler, who honestly is taking maybe a little bit too much damage, but now they're just spinning to win at the moment, causing a lot of distraction here for Lindenwood's. Vesuvius really just playing angles right now, but nice push there by Crazy Art to at least slow down Happy Dragon for the moment. Vesuvius, however, you look at the point, already trying to cap it up as Lindenwood now making their way towards it. Sora going to be able to find Gravelot out. A much better start here for Lindenwood, and it's going to be capped off here with a cap.
Yeah, I mean, just great job there from Lindenwood. Vesuvius not really able to get a dive going there, honestly. Like, we saw Happy Dragon just kind of swinging through, not really catching those slams onto that many targets. You know, there wasn't really a killable target that entire time, and Gravelot was just being held back by Sora and Hammer collectively, so you were just in a tough spot where you couldn't get a dive started up, so it's just going to take a little bit more coordination to truly get somebody.
Hammer almost taken out early there. Now they're being pressured out by Gravel, but oh, the nice flick from them. Going to be able to shut down the Tracer yet again to get everything started here. Hammer now with two, looking for even more here as they're focusing their sights on Happy Dragon. And they're going to be able to shut them down. But Lindenwood showing us why they are the only undefeated team left here in this GM tier.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of that so far. And it really does feel like you've taken the soldier away, and you're not able to get those same angles that you were getting before, where you're on just multiple sight lines, having multiple people attacking you.
Sora barely gets out with their life right there. Overtime has commenced. Vesuvius, though, gonna lose Happy Dragon here pretty early on, and now you're losing your Lucio, and at this point, it's just gonna be everyone else. Lindenwood gonna be able to get this first point. You will lose Sora, but not the biggest loss right now for Lindenwood, as you are going up in the map, 1-0.
Nah, you're really not too upset about that. Sora's going to be able to get back quickly, too. The movement on Vendetta is absolutely insane. In my opinion, the most fun character to play in the game now. Like, I love locking Vendetta. But, I mean, coming into this next play, Vesuvius going to have a couple of things here. You know, they've got the Pulse Bomb. They're pretty close on... Oh, here comes the Panopticon, actually, from Lindenwood.
And I like that they only went after one player right there, especially going after Chris Kringle. Getting rid of the speed, especially in this composition. Yeah, you have Wrecking Ball, you have Soj, you have Tracer. Three incredibly quick heroes. But at the same time, getting rid of that constant speed is a really, really good move, as you already see Hammer taking care of Jubs, who, again, without the legs, just seems to kind of be almost half the player they were the last map.
Yeah, it's been a very big difference, I'll say, in that regard. And it also just feels like Vesuvius can't really get set up, like, at all. Like, I'm not noticing really any coordinated dives like what we were seeing on Tuesday. But out come the mines from Happy Dragon.
Mine's gonna be responded to with here with the beat from Antler. Jub's gonna go with their overclock, looking for anything here. Still struggling to find anyone. Just misses the shot there on the hammer, but Bix will shut down Gravlot. Happy Dragon, however, will find Sora in the backline, but Lindenwood Academy still comfortably holding on to this point at the moment and still looking for some more picks. Balake barely escapes that shot there from Crazy Out with their life as Vesuvius going back to the drawing board here, but Happy Dragon trying to keep themselves in this one, but they might just have to back out.
Ooh, sound barrier does come out from Chris Kringle, though, so it looks like the advance is going to happen. They do manage to take down Crazy Art, though. Jub's coming alive on that Sojourn right there.
Yeah, and Jub's finally coming alive. They've been consistently shut down so far through the early part of this map, but again, if you're Vesuvius, you finally got the point capped here.
Yep, yeah, you do, and you got to deal with that Sundering Blade as well as the overclock coming in from Lindenwood Academy, so you're still in what I would say is a tough spot to try and keep this point under control.
Overclock coming out here from Hammer as they're looking for anyone. You just see Sora going straight after Happy Dragon, buying some time on the point for Lindenwood, but the point will get almost capped for free. Pulse Bomb coming out, does find two there for Lindenwood. Now Vesuvius has to get this point back here, but they still need to clean up Crazy Art, who's going to be able to shut down Gravlot. Bix just trying to keep their tank alive with as much as they can as Hammer trying to find anything as well, but Crazy Art with two. Hammer, though, the Panopticon comes out, lands on the two, and that might just do it for this point. It looked like Vesuvius with that double Pulse Bomb kill would have been all they needed, but Crazy Art going crazy for 3 kills.
Oh my gosh. And that just shows you the what a problem Domino can really be. Now, granted, we got to shout out Bix right there as well for not dying on that Kiriko and just constantly keeping the heals up, throwing the Suzus at the perfect time. And that is a tough fight to lose if you're Vesuvius. By all accounts, you should have won that, but you take down Crazy Art this time, to say the least.
The point, maybe a little bit too early. Blocking will be able to find Sora as well, so this is by far maybe the best start to any point for Vesuvius, as Jub's going to be able to shut down Antler here. So you should get the point right now if you are Vesuvius, as Jub's finding another one on the way out. But again, that wasn't necessarily the worst fight lost for Lindenwood, as point opened is capped, and everyone's going to be able to get back pretty quickly.
Yeah, worth noting, Sora has swapped over to that Sombra to try and just, I imagine, deal with his Wrecking Ball a little bit more effectively. Might be seeing like that defensive Sombra where you just kind of sit next to your tank and just wait to hack this ball. That would be disgusting, by the way.
You need to play it perfectly, though, because we've seen Sombra not necessarily been the best hero. And I love how Crazy Art is actually using these shoves just to essentially shut down Happy Dragon as they try to roll through Jubs. They're going to be able to shut down Crazy Art. Balake finds Bix. And already Vesuvius looking like they just want to take control of this point. Take control maybe of the map here as they get almost a team kill. Sora, the only one to escape with their life.
And that was a fantastic fight right there. The sound barrier comes in just a hair too late to save Crazy Art. And that was pretty much where the fight was over with. As soon as that domino went down, Lindenwood couldn't really do much in that fight. Gravlot going to have this Pulse Bomb online, and Balake going to have the Kitsune Rush available here. And the Pulse Bomb does go awry this time, though.
Hammer does have the overclock ready to go now. As you see the DPS line for Lindenwood trying to flank around. A nice shot there by Crazy Art. Going to be able to shut down Jubs, continuing out from the other side as Vesuvius trying to keep control of this point. But Sora going to get rolled off the map. Hammer going in with the overclock, not finding the same success they had earlier as Gravlot going to be able to shut them down. And Vesuvius now in just trying to clean up this fight. Crazy Art, though, trying to keep this one going here as they still have a lot of members. Panopticon does come out there, does land onto, I only believe, Happy Dragon. However, the beat going to be able to sustain them through it here right now. And no touch from Lindenwood gives Vesuvius that third point and life in this map.
Ooh, let me tell you, like you said, gave Vesuvius some life there. That's exactly what they needed. And I would say they're in a really good situation to at least win out this first fight here, because they have the minefields, and Lindenwood used their 2 ultimates that they had available trying to flip that last fight. Not really close to anything either, if I'm being totally honest. So you would think with some well-placed mines, this could be an easy fight win for Vesuvius.
Oh, easy, especially as everyone for Lindenwood's trying to go up into that high ground. You can use the mines right now to split the team off and leave Crazy out in a really bad spot, and that's exactly what Happy Dragon's going to do. But Balake going to be able to shut down Sora. Gravelot finds Antler, and now there's just the cleanup again, as Vesuvius looking more like the Vesuvius swell back in map 1. Jub's going to be able to shut down Bix, and now Happy Dragon just rolls straight through Crazy Art.
Oh, and the toughest part about that, if you're Lindenwood, you got basically no ultimate charge, while Vesuvius has built up to, they've got the pulse bomb and are very, very close on that overclock as well. So you're still in a bad situation because you're not close to anything still. So that one well-placed pulse bomb could cause this fight to go very quickly as well.
Really good. I think we're starting to see this DPS line for Vesuvius really come alive in this map. Those first 2 points, they were very quiet. Shove coming out there from Crazy Art again, gonna be able to slow down a Happy Dragon for a moment. Gonna be hacked up. However, that hack doesn't last as long as it used to. Like you kind of mentioned back on the first map, Jub's gonna be able to shut down Hammer, and now Lindenwood will actually get a point flip for free here, but Vesuvius looking like they're gonna be able to clean up this fight. Jub's, though, does get knocked out of this one pretty early. Another hack coming here onto Happy Dragon, but again, they just pop those shields and are right back, right as rain. Kitsune Rush coming out here from Bix as Lindenwood desperately just trying to get a fight win here, because I feel like that's all they need here is just one fight to go their way. Give them time to set up, and they're investing heavily into this fight. Both support ultimates out. Hammer gonna come back in, find Gravelot, and it looks like Vesuvius gonna have to respect it and back out, but they're coming back with a whole bunch of ultimates.
Yeah, they are. That sound barrier usage, I understand why it had to happen right there, but it also feels like we might want that back in a little minute. But I mean, coming into this next fight, you do have the Panopticon and that EMP available to you. A well-placed EMP can be a very quick fight win as well, especially if you just catch one of the two supports out early. That's really all you need to do right here if you're Sora. Just catch a support with this EMP.
Especially with mines coming online here for Happy Dragon, but 3 people will get hit with that EMP. However, Sora will trade their life for it. Gravelot will fall as well. However, you're just looking at everything here. The Vesuvius trying to be able to find some points back. The mines do come out, but you don't find anyone just yet. Hammer going to be able to shut down Jubs, and was looking like a good opportunity for Vesuvius to come back. Getting it squashed here as Lindenwood will tie up the series.
I mean, it ended up being a great investment in the prior fight from Lindenwood. Like I said, all they had to do was get the one support kill with that EMP. They come in, they take down Chris Kringle, and that was the end of that fight. That fight was never gonna flip the other way without some insane hero play. And it's just really good recognition from Lindenwood, realizing that, hey, we just win this if we do this one thing right here.
Yeah, and Lindenwood, they got off to a really good start this map, banning out the soldier. We talked about Jubs doesn't necessarily look the same. They started to get better as that map went on the Soj, but it wasn't the same. I mean, it seemed like they were a little bit timid a lot of the times to really make moves, not having that soldier constantly be able to run the Tri-Rocket or the Helix rockets as well. But again, that was just a much better map there for Lindenwood. I think the Domina really allowed them to slow it down a little bit, even on a map that I talked about a playing side where you want to be up tempo. They slowed it down just enough and really forced that wrecking ball kind of play style to struggle into it, because we saw there multiple times. It would just be Crazy Art using that shove to slow down Happy Dragon and even stun them out a lot of the bowls and even some of the pile drives.
Yeah, it was really just the fact that Lindenwood could bunker on point and just do so much damage at the exact same time is what was really... That was what was really just countering the ball comp, because ball comps have like no point presence whatsoever. That's not really what you do on ball. You just kind of swing through and you just pile drive, and you got to kill someone at that exact moment. Otherwise, it's not really going to work.
Yeah. But with that being the end of our second map, we're going to throw it over to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have map number 3 of this mid-season grand final. So everyone stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back everyone from that little halftime break right there. Lindenwood Academy able to knot up this series at 1 on Saravasa with a really good showing. However, now we're into the back half of it, a best of 3 from here on out to decide the mid-season champion here for the GM tier. And Shadow, I mean, that Lindenwood looked really good that last map, especially on what I would consider probably be a Vesuvius' go-to comp on that Wrecking Ball.
They did look really good. Vesuvius started to come alive there towards the end of that map, but Lindenwood got out to such a heavy lead that it was just too much to recover from. And the ultimates just lined up just right for Lindenwood to be able to take that map. And the Sombra swap ended up being very, very beneficial, you know? Not necessarily for the hacks and the neutral, but that EMP coming down there at the end was just incredibly helpful.
Yeah, it really was, and I almost thought that EMP would be held for minefield to come out there and just clean up the mines, but no, use it at the right time. Got 4 people. It ended up training themselves out, but in the end, it still worked out very well for them. However, that map is in the past. We're gonna be going to our 3rd map now, and Vesuvius, they have decided to bring us to Route 66 here, Shadow. And I mean, me and you were talking about it over the break and a little bit after that last map. This is still a map where I feel like Domina does get a decent amount of value. Wrecking Ball gets a decent amount of value here as well. So it wouldn't surprise me to see those 2 heroes come back out here.
Yeah, we could definitely see that sort of thing happen again, but it is looking like we are potentially having a few substitutions coming in as well. Some really crazy players that we saw the other day on Circuit Royale. Here we go. We got Elite Zero coming in for Gravelot. Saw them be absolutely dominant on that Freya, and basically any hit scan they decided to touch. And Illuminite was just crazy on that Zenyatta the other day. So I'm expecting something akin to what we saw them play on Circuit Royale on Tuesday.
Yeah, a very different map, though. You would still look at this as a poke map, but I feel like the Zenyatta doesn't find the same value. Freya has her spots, I think, on this map where she can find the same exact value. It's going to be really difficult, I think, to get the Zenyatta working. But Vesuvius, they could make it a little bit easier for them here with them having the first ban. So where do you see them going here?
Oh, with this ban on the table, you could just go on ahead and get rid of Domino potentially. That is definitely an option, but it looks like they're going to go for that Kiriko. I mean, they're probably not planning to play it anyways. They're most likely going to go with that Bab Zen combination. So, hey, let's get rid of the Kiriko. That actually makes total sense to me that that's the route you would go here.
Now Lindenwood, they can go after DPS line here. They can go after tank. It doesn't make any sense for them to go after potentially a Junker Queen here unless we see Happy Dragon get subbed out here very late. But no, instead they're going after the Tracer instead.
Yeah, that leads me to believe that they don't necessarily know that. I don't think either one of these two DPS that are in right now for Vesuvius are going to play that Tracer. It seems as though Gravelot is going to play Tracer if the side of Vesuvius is going to play Tracer.
Oh, remember, Gravelot is coming out here, and I should mention this, we kind of went out of order. The bans come first before subs. So the ban came in for Lindenwood. That probably is what precipitated the sub in here for Gravelot, as Elite Zero will come in instead for this map.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes perfect sense. So yeah, you're getting rid of the Tracer, Gravelot's preferred hero. Now you got Elite Zero coming in. We saw Elite Zero play a few hit scans on Tuesday. I'm only remembering the Freya, but I swear they played like Sojourn or Ashe or something like that too on one of the other maps. So very flexible, and as you can see, their preferred hero is actually Genji, which we did not get to see, so maybe we'll be seeing that here on this map today.
I mean, we do know sometimes the players like to gaslight us into thinking what heroes they like to play, but Genji could definitely come out here. Definitely an option for them, but it's going to be really interesting to see what we see actually from Lindenwood. Do they stick with the Domina, or they go back over to something like the D.Va here? Because the D.Va, it didn't really find the value that they were probably looking for back on the first point of Busan, but the Domina, it really shut down a lot that Vesuvius was trying to do that last map. And again, like I said, this is a map where Domina can still definitely play. However, it looks like if that is, I'm going to take a guess. Yeah, that's Lindenwood coming out here with their own Zen and their own Sigma.
All right, so this is we got an unironic Torb sighting as well, which I'm always up for, but I'm really surprised to see it, quite honestly. This must be a moment where you're gonna just try and land this accretion on Happy Dragon the second they slam, and just everybody kill this hamster as fast as possible. That must be the strategy here.
Yes, the hamster in the microwave strategy, as Jubs will actually get the grapple shot there. However, they landed onto the worst person to land onto of Crazy Art. Going to be healed up almost immediately. It's going to be interesting to see how long Jubs actually stays on this Widow. However, they might be sticking on a while there because, yeah, we know them for the soldier, but my God, they are hitting heads.
Absolutely are. Elite Zero getting some of that spam in. Jubs looking for another one. I can't believe that Torb turret's shooting Jubs all the way up there on Widowmaker, by the way. The turret's got some crazy range.
Elite Zero, though, showing us that Genji's showing us they are not gaslighting, and Vesuvius, they are casually just bowling through this first point here.
I mean, it really comes down to that first kill coming through for Jubs, right? Having a 5v4 is just so nice. And you saw it right there, how effective it was. You're even going to see Crazy Art swap over to the Diva. You're going to see the Genji swap as well. And we're looking at an Ana Brig backline also. So a lot of swaps coming through here. They said, all right, we've had enough of this Widowmaker already. We're going Diva and Genji, and we're just going to deal with it.
And Hammer also just matching the Widow, I think is the more interesting play here for them, because if you kind of get diffed once, it's going to kind of linger for a while here as Jubs, I think it's only really missed maybe 1 or 2 shots so far as Crazy Arts get anteed up pretty early on, has to fly back to safety for a moment. That's only going to give Vesuvius space here, and now Happy Dragon actually going up in the sky, get a scout out a little bit, get some damage onto Hammer as you do see Crazy Art try to pressure them back here, but if you're Lindenwood, you need to figure something out here because this Wrecking Ball might start to go a little bit too crazy here.
Oh, doesn't quite manage to get a kill there, but just getting these disruptions is really nice as Elite Zero takes out their matchup in Sora, catching them out low there to the side.
And again, Elite Zero coming in, I think that was the thing that really impressed us when we saw them on Tuesday. They came in and acted like they had been playing this entire series, and already they're playing just like that. A really hot starter here as Vesuvius. Again, just getting all this free push here.
Oh yeah, they absolutely are. It's going to take a while for Lindenwood to be able to reset this. And, I mean, you see Luminite over there, but that's such a wide distance you have to try and cross to deal with this Zenyatta that somebody is going to get picked in the process, especially when your Zen has this good aim.
But you get Jubs taken out early on. That gets rid of some of that pressure from that Widow. And Crazy Art will be able to find Luminite, but, oh, I thought I saw them maybe just go off the side of the map right there. Going to be able to keep themselves up here. Now Lindenwood finally going to be able to stabilize here for a brief moment. But you look over at Vesuvius, more swaps coming out from them here.
Yeah, Jubs going over to that Emre here. I don't necessarily dislike it just because of the distance that you play at on this map. I do worry about the matchup into the Widowmaker directly. It's hard to deal with Widowmaker with anything other than like a Widowmaker from that DPS line. So yeah, hopefully Hammer doesn't go too wild here in these next few fights.
I mean, but you're seeing them just play good angles right now. Draw attention towards them here as you already see Crazy Art get the nano, and they're immediately just going to roll through Jubs, and that Transcendence maybe coming out a little bit too late there from Luminite to save their Emre. And now that's a good ultimate gone. Bomb going to be forced out here by Crazy Art. Everyone from Vesuvius going to be able to get out of the cave and keep themselves alive here as Crazy Art gets back into the mech.
Back into the mech indeed. We have a nano blade available for the side of Vesuvius. I hope we get to see it because that's always a fun combo. But Hammer taking down Jubs, just like I was talking about, that range difference is hard to deal with against a Widow.
And the nano blade already finding 2 right now. Hammer, like you said, did find 1, but it's not necessarily going to be enough in this fight. Crazy Art will find Luminite. Happy Dragon can get a shutdown Bix here. Now, if you're Lindenwood, you might just be trying to stall off this card a little bit longer, but Crazy Art finding 1. If they can find another one here, it will force Vesuvius back. However, it looks like Vesuvius already just falling back to regroup here, and Lindenwood doing a good job now. Already half that time bank gone.
Yeah, they're doing a great job on the second point defense. Second point is so hard to break because you really do just have to get an entire team fight win. You can't just get like a kill or two. Coming in here though, minefields are going to be available. Hopefully Happy Dragon can manage to get those in a good spot to catch somebody out. But you can see Antler getting mobile on that Brigitte.
And understand the good tech of Brig right there. Now needs to keep everyone alive. That shield's going to dissipate, so they're going to have to play their life here for a moment because they know if they poke their head out a little bit too long, they're going to fall. D8 or Hammer, though, swapping over to the cast, going to be able to find one blade. Now out from Sora will be dry, but it doesn't matter as everyone for Vesuvius already back in the spawn here, and another regroup coming out from them, and looks like even more swaps.
Yeah, it does appear that we're going to be seeing the Ana Brig mirror, and it's tough. Like I mentioned earlier, D.Va is like the one tank that can effectively deal with Wrecking Ball. We haven't seen that matchup yet, but this is what you typically expect it to look like, is you can just deny a lot of Ball's damage. And a lot of everybody's damage, quite frankly. That defense matrix is ridiculous, and we're really seeing that play out in real time.
Sora waiting for the opportunity here to dive this backline as everyone is almost there, but now Sora might have put themselves in a little bit in too deep there. Nano, though, will come out on the Crazy Art, going to at least be able to save their Genji. The Happy Dragon not going to be able to escape there, and what was the 4.5-minute time bank for Vesuvius now gone here to only 45 seconds, and they need to regroup yet again.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be last fight territory. You've got a Nano, you're not close to that blade though, and even Lindenwood has a bomb, so like even if you demech Crazy Art, that's going to be an instant remech. I don't know, this is a tough ask here. Somebody's got to get a crazy kill like that. That's a great opening from Happy Dragon.
Balake hit a 3-man anti-nade over there onto Bix, Antler, and Hammer, forcing them all to fall back here. That was the opening they needed, like you said. Override Protocol is online for Jubs. Yeah, and I was going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if they get the Nano, and that's exactly what happens. Elite Zero finds one, Jubs finds the other, and the only ones left alive right now are Crazy Art, who's just stalling out the car as long as they can. That bomb, though, will be... Actually, no, it's not invested at all. They don't use it. They just decide to take the death.
Yeah, that must have been communicated with the team right there. They're like, hey, this isn't winnable even if you use the bomb, so may as well just save it for a fight that we could potentially win. But, I mean, just great overall. Like you said, the anti coming in from Balake, the Nano going on to Jubs. Just great plays all around right there. And that's the advantage of playing an Ana right there. That the anti-nades just are so crazy and can win you so many fights.
Hammer trying to get out with their life. Gonna get some help there from Antler as they come in with the shield. And now again, you see Crazy Art going after that high ground, trying to get rid of Jubs. You do see Happy Dragon try to get up there to save their teammates. And nice another anti-nade coming out there from Balake. Get a slowdown with Crazy Art for the moment. But once they get those rockets back, they just go charging in. Elite Zero now time to shine with their blade. Gets bopped away, but Happy Dragon gonna be able to take care of Bix. Deadeye now out from Hammered. The bomb out from Crazy Art as well. Not gonna find anyone here. The blade will eventually fall away, but still Elite Zero doesn't need the Dragon Blade to still find picks here, as you're starting to see Vesuvius get back rolling here, but it seems like they might have to fall back as Crazy Art now starting to roll through everyone. Hammer gonna shut down one. The only one left alive right now is Happy Dragon, who looks like they're gonna be able to get out with their life.
They will indeed be able to do so. Happy Dragon gonna have that minefield online, and Luminite gonna have the rally. On the side for Lindenwood Academy, they're looking at a rally and a Nano, and Sora getting pretty close to a blade. We could potentially see that Nano Blade combo come out, which could be tough.
Hammer almost taken out right there. The mines in the backline, though, going to be able to take care of two. Sora, though, the blade out from them. Can it be the difference maker as the rally is out from Antler as well? Sora, though, going to go face first into a mine. The rally from Antler now is just more vital for the team as they almost get bowled into a mine, but they're being pressured out a little bit by Elite Zero, who will take care of them. No Briggs for either side. Crazy Art now might just need to fly back towards their own spawn. No supports on their side as Bix, though, coming out of the spawn to be able to heal them up, but they just get teammacked before the bomb comes online. Now Happy Dragon just needs to stay on cart, awaiting their team to get back. The Nano thrown out on the Jubs, probably not the intended target, but they'll happily take it. However, they're going to be taking a nap here instead. Fan the Hammer not going to be able to find anything. Deadeye now out from Hammer, just trying to buy some time, buy some space here. You do see Happy Dragon rolling around, trying to keep this one going as Sora actually coming back out on the venture. Bomb out won't matter as the flashbang takes care of everyone who's going to touch there for Vesuvius. And Lindenwood Academy able to stop Vesuvius halfway through that final point push.
I mean, it didn't look like Vesuvius was even going to make it through point 2, so that's the positive here if you're Vesuvius. And the positive here for Lindenwood is that, hey, you figured out really how to stop this Wrecking Ball composition. The answer is D.Va. The answer is usually D.Va for dealing with the ball comps, and, you know, that still continues to remain true here. I mean, the only reason point two really got captured was just a crazy play coming through from Balake with that anti-nade. Otherwise, that would have been a second point hold. So it was taking hero plays to get through that diva composition on second point.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of hero plays throughout the night. I mean, you talk about Hammer back on that second point of Saravasa. You talk about, I believe it was Jubs or Gravelot on the second point of Busan, really making a big play there for Vesuvius to win that point and ended up winning the map because of it. I mean, we have seen some incredible hero plays throughout the night already. And honestly, with this being a grand final, even though it's the mid-season, not the end of season, you still need those plays to come out.
Yeah, you absolutely do. It can't be the only way you're winning fights though. Like, and that's what it felt like happened for Vesuvius after we saw the swaps, all the swaps come out from Lindenwood, right? Because remember, they came out, they were on like Torb Sigma. Once they swapped to a more traditional style composition, it became significantly more difficult for Vesuvius to find that same level of value.
Happy Dragon just kind of hanging out, waiting for their moment to pile drive down, buy some time here, get some good idea or good scouting. But Bix, playing this high ground, might not know they're in danger just yet. However, I believe at this moment they have to understand it, as you do see Happy Dragon go rolling through the backline. Actually almost gets Antler off the map. Hammer, though, gonna be... Ooh! Not taken out there as Big's going to come to their rescue, and now they're focusing back in on their support line duo there of Antler. However, everyone on Lindenwood kind of low here as Vesuvius doing a good job of stalling the card out for the moment. Balake, though, will fall. Jubs will fall, and honestly, Shadow, we might just be seeing an exact copy of what we saw last round.
Yeah, it seems to be a very, very quick first fight coming through there. Elite Zero just pushing up a little too far, thinking they could get that elimination onto Antler, and just immediately getting punished for it. I mean, if you're Vesuvius right now, I'm not really sure what the answer is, because you're just having a lot of difficulties getting on to Bix, and that is a crazy kill for Nana.
Yeah, a great kind of combo as well. The sleeve, the anti, and one take aim shot there from Hammer really made sure that Happy Dragon not going to be able to get out. And again, another 5-minute time bank here for these teams to push through second point. Vesuvius now almost needs the exact same kind of hold that we saw Lindenwood do last round.
And the legs have come out. Jubs has pulled out. Jubs has broken the glass for Soldier. Right, he is out and he is here to fight. But again, I really think just the lack of point presence that is available for Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball has an insane health pool, but just not being able to get on top of this Zen with your entire team is going to prove very very unfruitful in fights.
Yeah, you almost need Elite Zero to kind of be shadowing Happy Dragon in this moment here. She's crazy are trying to get rid of, hey, exactly what I was talking about there. Elite Zero, who's now in the backline all by them lonesome here. Going to be able to get back to the safety of their team, but still, Lindenwood just kind of casually pushing up right now as Vesuvius getting set back up for another dive.
That's another one of the tough things. Oh no. Oh dear.
There we go. I thought they were going to take themselves out there. Happy Dragon, though, finally will shut down one member of that backline and then eventually find the other one here. And this is exactly what you needed if you're Vesuvius. You needed a fight like that just to send Lindenwood back and allow you time to get set up on this high ground as you start to clean up the rest of Lindenwood.
Yeah, that is the exact kind of fight you needed to go your way. I was going to say one of the tough things is that you pretty much have to get in a limb on those dives that you do as Happy Dragon. Otherwise, it's going to just allow those supports. It's a very greedy backline on his end, right? But that also means they're very vulnerable. Not right now because Transcendence is available, but you have to capitalize on their vulnerability if they're going to run this greedy backline.
Bix, though, anteed up. The Transcendence going to come out, but it's not going to be able to save Hammer, not going to be able to save Bix, as well as the Nano Blade. Just a little bit too strong for the Transcendence. And Lindenwood back to the drawing board. And I mean, Shadow, at this point, are we just seeing deja vu all over again?
I mean, it certainly seems to be that way, especially with the way the ults are set up right now. Nano is going to be online. Crazy Art has Bomb also, but you still got to deal with this minefield, and you're consistently going into a very, very small corridor, so I would not be shocked to see Happy Dragon just roll through, drop them, and just peace.
Yeah, but ooh, they find Jubs out. That might just be the pick they need to get everything going here, as you immediately see Vesuvius start to fall back a little bit. The Nano invests here on the Crazy Art, but they get put to sleep. Happy Dragon also put to sleep at the backline, but the mines are out. Gonna be slowing down Lindenwood here for a brief moment. Balake, though, will fall, and Luminite not gonna be able to save their counterpart on the support line, as Crazy Art gonna be able to escape with their life, and knowing that both those that rally is now gone for Vesuvius.
Yeah, that does potentially leave open an opening for a more heavy dive. The Bolo going to be available here from Hammer, and this is going to be a really important fight if you're Lindenwood. It can give you a ton of time on this third point if you can manage to win out this next fight.
We saw Hammer not miss a single take aim shot right there at all, as Crazy Art now is trying to play a little bit of offensive lineman at this choke right now. Again, bomb online, Bola out as well, but it's gonna be deflected back into Crazy Art. Nice play from Elite Zero. Bomb out from Crazy Art, though, not gonna be able to find anyone, but they get safely back in the mech. Jubs will be able to find one with the visor, as Hammer probably throws himself into the middle of that visor. Hammer, though, with 2, looking for 3 here. Again, landing shot after shot, but you know who else is landing shot after shot? Jubs. Now, though, Hammer trying to get rid of Balake as they fall back to safety. And you do see a couple more touches coming out here from Vesuvius. They want to make sure they do not give Lindenwood that much time here. And honestly, I mean, you have Happy Dragon coming back. You have the time here. You have the heroes. Luminite gonna find Sora, who's desperately coming back on the Sombra. This is almost feeling like a desperation play now for Lindenwood, as they're down a couple. The raid boss is out here as Luminite gets the Nano. Crazy Art, their second Nano essentially of this fight, immediately just goes through that support line. Jubs, though, going to be able to try it back up, but Crazy Art trying to get rid of the tank counterpart here, but they're going to focus in on that high ground, as Jubs barely keeping themselves alive here, but now they need to get rid of Happy Dragon, and the hack will come out there from Sora. 2.5 minutes now for Lindenwood Academy to get 42 meters.
Oh man, that was an expensive fight for Lindenwood Academy, and it really all got started with Crazy Art's D-Mech, right? It seems like an odd spot for that fight to start going your way, but you get the squish onto Happy Dragon and then immediately get to follow up that kill with it. That remech damage ended up being very, very crucial for not having your tank available for a lot of that fight when you're Vesuvius.
And honestly, losing Hammer that early on in that engagement, not necessarily the worst thing, because you're really not going to see Vesuvius come out here and even contest anything for a while. Antler gonna shut down Crazy Zero, or Elite Zero there, as now Happy Dragon trying to run away with their life. Jubs, though, will be able to find the trade. Jubs, though, might not be able to get out themselves here, just barely by the skin of their teeth, but someone needs to be a touch. Minefield coming out now from Happy Dragon. Sora will be able to find that soldier in the back line, but still the mine's gonna hinder Lindenwood here for the brief moment, as you're gonna need to see other ultimates come out here from Vesuvius as Lindenwood starts getting back towards the cart here. Bola shot came out there from Hammer, not gonna be able to find much. Now the rally coming out from Luminite, Blade out from Elite Zero, as they're trying to find anyone, and they slice through too. This is gonna force a fallback here from Lindenwood with just over a minute to go.
Oh man, the naked blade getting value there from Elite Zero. That's hard. That's really hard to do. So just managing to get those kills, that life steal on the blade, I guarantee that life steal on the blade is what caused that kill to be able to come through right there. It was a crazy good play from Elite Zero, knowing exactly what needed to happen to win that fight for your team.
If you're Lindenwood here, you might try to slow play this fight. Look at what they're coming up to here. EMP, Nano, Rally. You still have Bomb. The only thing that Vesuvius is going to have here will be the visor that Jubs has to go right now. Sora, though, looking at that EMP online early, because it might be all they need here. Nice hack, but they're going to miss the virus. They're onto Elite Zero. Sora barely going to be able to escape with their life. Anti-Nate coming out there from Balaki, going to be able to slow down too, but now the fight is for the point. EMP comes out, hits 3. Jubs, though, with the visor, trying to find whatever they can, but they're watching their teammates die around them, and they will die as well. Now it's just Lindenwood gonna be able to clean up and go on to series point.
And you know, I said it before, right? The Sombra, not necessarily the best at doing either damage or disabling people. EMP is still fantastic though, and we've seen that now in the last 2 maps, right? Not really much happening with your Sombra in those neutral fights, but the second that it comes to having that EMP available for a fight, it's basically a fight win every single time it's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a little bit of a niche pick. We've seen it work and we've seen it fail. And when it works, man, does it bring a lot of value to the play there. But one thing I want to highlight there, we saw the stats at the end of that map. Crazy Art only died twice throughout that entire map, 34 and 2. they were incredible that map. They were really dictating a lot of the pressure coming out from both those teams. And I think that was the biggest question for us going into that map, was how would we see them actually play against the Wrecking Ball that time around, since we didn't see the Domina. Instead, we saw the Sigma there for a life. That was one of their deaths, the one life they had on Sigma. Then they went over to the D.Va and only died one more time from there on out that entire map. I mean, they played excellently.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I keep saying though, D.Va is like the matchup for a Wrecking Ball. That's the matchup where you're like, all right, I actually got a decent chance of winning this one here. You know, I have the damage mitigation with this defense matrix. I've got just the sheer damage output to take down one of these backliners with these micro missiles. I mean, we saw that quite a few times. Pretty much anytime the nano was used, it was an immediate go. And then Crazy Art was able to take down one, if not both, the supports pretty much every single time they got nano.
And now, if you're Vesuvius, you have map pick here for the last time this series. You'll have first ban for the last time this series as well. And I feel like it's kind of difficult to say, like, okay, who are you going to go after? Because if I remember correctly, yeah, Vesuvius has already banned out the D.Va. They could go after Domina and try to force that D.Va, bring us to a map where D.Va doesn't really find a lot of value, but D.Va's still strong, and especially in the hands of Crazy Art, it might not matter what the map is.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I think you can play D.Va on basically every map that is left available to us, because we've taken out Escort, we've taken out Flashpoint, so we're left with Push and Hybrid. I don't think there's a single map that you can't just run D.Va on and it be incredibly effective. And like I said, I think the D.Va is going to beat the Wrecking Ball more often than the Wrecking Ball is going to beat the D.Va. And that's the tough situation you find yourself in now if you're Vesuvius.
Yeah, and do you bring Albert back in to play the Queen? Do you bring back in Gravelot? Do you bring back in Chris Kringle? I mean, you have options here, and we've seen every player for Vesuvius, especially on that series on Tuesday, come in and play and look really, really good. But right now, they're finally being shut down for what might be the first time this entire season. Yeah, they have that one loss, but remember what they told us. That one loss, they didn't necessarily have their full lineup here. They had a couple of people off-rolling. It was a little bit of an off night for them as well. So this is something where we're going to have to see a little bit of a bounce back from, especially with their backs against the wall, as Lindenwood Academy is on championship point.
Yeah, I would say the really tough part here is that since you banned out the D.Va denies a lot of what Queen wants to do as well, right? So it's like a two-pronged sword. You already got rid of the D.Va, which is probably one of the biggest reasons you won Busan in such convincing fashion. You didn't have to deal with that, and now you have to deal with it for the rest of the series. And D.Va effectively deals with your two best tanks in Queen and in Wrecking Ball. It's like the best thing you can play against both of those heroes. So it's a really tough spot to be in if you're Vesuvius.
Yeah, but hey, we do know what our fourth and potential final map of this series will be. Vesuvius, their final map pick, well, they want to go north of the border for us here in America to Canada for New Queen Street.
New Queen Street, I would say, out of every map that's left, I would probably like this one the best for Wrecking Ball, if that's the way that we're going to go here. A push map in general is going to be the best for Ball. I think Ball's equally as good on all three of the push maps. I don't really like Ball that much on any of the hybrid maps, though, so a tough spot here for Vesuvius. I don't even know what you ban, because the big issue, maybe you just ban Sombra, right? Like, it hasn't necessarily been that good in the neutral fights, but those EMPs have been just incredibly deadly.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking with this one as well. I mean, like you said, it hasn't really found a lot of value in just normal fights, but EMPs, it seems like most of the times it's Lindenwood coming on top, but no. The Vendetta coming out here, which I don't think we've seen Vendetta since map 1.
I think it was Suravasa. I think it was the first 2 points on Suravasa. Sora was playing that Vendetta and then swapped over to the Sombra after that.
Now Lindenwood, I mean, they could go after their tank here, but I mean, who do you go after on it? No, instead it's going to be Lucio, which again, both teams have been playing Lucio a lot throughout the night here, and especially on this map. I feel like you do see Lucio really find a lot more value than what we were potentially seeing last map, where they were playing a very dive focused support line.
Yeah, we were seeing a lot of Ana Zen or Ana Brig. It seemed like once both teams like died once or twice on Zen, they're like, all right, I'll pull the Brig out. Fine, I'll do this now since you forced it out of me.
Yeah. And I mean, you see the bans throughout the entire series here. And I mean, we talked about on map 1, the Wrecking Ball ban coming out from Lindenwood, a very much a targeted ban at Vesuvius, but Vesuvius won that map. And then map 2, a very much a targeted ban at Lindenwood on that Diva, but Lindenwood won that map. So it seems like when we've seen these targeted bans come out, they've kind of backfired on the teams.
Yeah, it kind of has not particularly gone either team's way in those situations. Vesuvius going to have a few subs though. Gravelot going to be coming back in, Albert going to be coming back in, and Chris Kringle coming back in as well, which I am curious about. I don't know if we've seen Chris Kringle play anything other than the Lucio, so I'm just going to be very curious to see what kind of composition gets cooked up here. Maybe we see like a Juno Brig to potentially go with the Junker Queen that we've seen Albert play so much of. I don't know. We'll have to see.
That's what I'm thinking. We're probably going to see a break come out from them. But right now, if you're Vesuvius, this is the lineup you had map 1, the one map you have won so far this series. No swaps for Lindenwood. As far as we know, they only have 5 players on their team, so we weren't expecting to see any throughout the night. But I feel like for Lindenwood, we've just seen them progressively get better as this series has gone on. And that's not saying anything bad about Vesuvius. Vesuvius has been right there in a lot of these situations. I mean, you could look at the starts that both teams had in their attacking rounds on Route 66, where it looked like neither team could really stop them.
No, I mean, it was definitely a very close map that we had on Route 66. And I mean, even Saravasa, it just took Vesuvius too long to get like warmed up, it felt like, on their comp they were trying to play. Otherwise, I think that would have potentially been a 5-point type of map as well. Just Lindenwood making one more play here or there. It just so happens that it's been an EMP pretty much every time I've seen that happen on those 2 maps. But that's just an odd coincidence. I don't think that's like a real thing, if you will.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, Vesuvius, the Queen probably coming back out here now, even though he talked about this being a really good map for Wrecking Ball. When you look at the push maps, I feel like the one map that everyone probably would mostly agree with is the best Wrecking Ball map when it comes to push is Runasapi. So the fact that they're bringing the Queen out here, and this is a very heavy dive map, especially around the first checkpoints, it's going to be a little bit more interesting. I think almost Vesuvius is saying, hey, we're going to play this Queen, and we are going to force you to either mirror it, or you're going to have to beat us on the Diva, which remember when we saw the Queen Diva back in map 1, it seemed like Lindenwood very much struggled against it.
Yeah, they did struggle a little bit, but it's looking like Lindenwood might be going for the Zarya instead this time. So we're going to have like a Zarya with a Curie and a Wuyong. And they're just playing like a full-on, please run at us. I want you to run at us because then we're going to absolutely obliterate you when you try and do it composition.
The please punch me in the face. I dare you comp.